This is the Superpowered Mind podcast for inquiring individuals who are tired of the struggle for peace, happiness, and clarity. I'm Claire Diamond, ready to help you explore the principles of the mind, the self, and reality to unlock ultimate mental freedom. This podcast is the one to listen to if you're ready to experience the capabilities of the superpowered mind. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 66. And today we're looking at the 3 pillars of life in form. And really, I spend all day, every day, having different conversations, considering in different ways the experience of being and the power of the mind to create any experience of being and what we are, and to completely transform at any stage. And the more conversations I have, the more it becomes clearer and clearer to me that there are different levers that play the role of creating our sense of existence and in bringing about the infinite possibility for anything to change at any time. And these 3 levers or pillars are attention, experience, and creation. And it's very interesting looking at the combination of them to see how they combine to really create everything. The entirety of experience, of existence is coming, I think, from these 3 pillars. So the first one is attention. And attention is really, I think we can see it as a spotlight or a stage or a lens through which reality comes into existence. And if we consider ourselves, one of the aspects of true being as being infinite consciousness narrowed down and directed through this angle of attention goes on to create an entire realm of existence. The totality of all content is coming through that angle of attention. It's almost, like we can imagine this lighthouse, really, the beam of the lighthouse sweeping across the sea, and whatever falls into that beam in any given moment is the entire world. That's the entirety of what's available, what exists. Anything outside of the beam doesn't exist. And I think this is absolutely fascinating to consider in terms of what reality is really, because it just looks, doesn't it, all the time as though there's me here, and I live in reality, and how what I think of myself is true, what I think of the world is true, and that's it. So there's just me going about my day in reality. But the truth is, the me, everything about the me will change according to what is coming into that spotlight of attention. And it's the same with the world. And so even just meeting, say, a new person, what is attention focusing on to the exclusion of all other things that will mean the experience of that person is playing out in a particular way? We can consider it's infinitesimal, isn't it? It's tiny, tiny, tiny compared to the unlimited amount of other things, other information that could be brought into account in considering another person. But attention is actively all the time deciding what comes into existence and what doesn't. And from the perspective, I'm the doer, I'm the chooser, I decide where my attention goes. It can just look as though attention is a tool in the management of being me. But really, attention creates the entire experience of being me. Wherever attention goes becomes the reality. And what is causing attention to shift? It's not being controlled by an entity that thinks it's the controller. Because how could that happen? The I that I think I am has absolutely no idea how thoughts come into existence, how beliefs are formed or changed, how eyesight changes direction, how hearing happens. Zero idea. So all the time, information is coming in because attention is directing the show. And the I that thinks it's directing attention is really only an output of that attention. Whatever is prioritized, whatever looks important, whatever looks urgent, becomes the experience. And so attention is the spotlight that creates the whole realm of content. And that leads us directly onto experience, because attention and experience go hand in hand. Wherever attention goes, that then becomes the experience of being. And so this again is fascinating, isn't it? How it can look like the experience of being is just true, is just real. This is what I am. What's happening is attention is shifting onto something, and because of that, there is an experience of being me that plays out. And it has no real reality to it. It's not representative of anything. It's just an experience. And that combination, attention and experience together, I think is really a breakthrough in the understanding that all experience is just there to be had. The sensations, the content, the narrative, the story, whatever it is just there. It's being created. It doesn't mean that's what we are. It doesn't mean that this is representative of my life or the world or my potential, my future, my past. It's just a momentary, sensory-based experience that is being created by whatever looks most pressing or most true or most urgent, most real in that moment. And that's it. I feel that this is a breakthrough because from the perspective of a separate me who believes it's the one making all of this happen, controlling experience is the be all and end all, isn't it? Having the right emotions, having the right mindset, having the right experience of being me. That's the focus of everything. And when we consider that actually attention is shifting, there is no I in control of that. And wherever attention shifts, creates an experience, and that experience is just there to be had, it really changes the whole focus of existence from desperate attempt to control the uncontrollable to simply having whatever sensations, whatever emotions, whatever experience of being is there in that moment. So it's completely transformative already. Becomes even more transformative when we add in creation. And creation, it seems to me, is the nature of existence, isn't it? It's the nature of the universe, the nature of life, the nature of intelligence, the nature of consciousness. Creation, this ongoing transformation from energetic potential into form, into content of experience, is the ongoing state of existence, state of being, state of everything. And so that starting to understand creation as our nature, as our infinite nature, starts to bring more and more of a focus onto this magical, really magical, mystical, mind-blowing space in which we are the source of everything. We are the creative power. There is nothing that we as infinite creativity cannot bring into existence. And we can start to align creation with attention, with experience, to start understanding better how these pillars work together. So in terms of attention and creation, attention will direct the content of what's experienced. So say there might be, in thinking about ahead to our money course that's coming up, there might be attention on bills, attention on what's owed, attention on fear, on a fear of the future, attention on future images of not enough money, of evictions, of homelessness. And so the infinite creativity is being used along with attention to generate a vivid, real, compelling, dramatic, all-consuming sense of existence that is, in that moment, a terror of the future, a terror of money, a fear of finances and bills and income that make it impossible even to open the bank app, to even look at a bank statement. And that experience of being in that moment is entirely created from this combination of wherever attention is being directed and this creative force taking place within that realm, within that world, that creates a vivid world of evidence and content and other people and events and futures that say, yes, this is real, this is what's happening to you, this is the certainty of your future, this is the past that's now again playing out so vividly of all the mistakes that you've made. This is real. But all it is attention directed into an area of, in this case, lack, we could say, lack, fear, hopelessness, and then infinite creativity supplying the goods. And bringing in experience now here, and again, this might sound hard to hear, but really that experience is wanted. That experience of that roller coaster, of that of that threat, of hovering on the edge, that drama, that intense sensation, the absolutely compelling nature of it, the experience of being so limited, so hopeless, so helpless, is what is wanted by this whole design. Because if you think about it, it's an incredible achievement of attention and creation together to create an experience of being that is so opposite, so far away from the truth of what we are. Infinite consciousness, infinite intelligence, infinite creation. So that experience of being completely separate, completely limited, completely focused on past and future is a work of art. Truly, it's a work of art. And so what I think is really interesting is this attention focusing on an area, and it might be an area that we're interested in, we're passionate about, where we feel maybe there's injustice or there's something that needs to change. And it might well be creating an experience of being, particularly when it comes from myself as separate. I don't know what to do here. I'm hopeless. This is terrible. I'm just feeling awful about this, but I don't know where to begin. And that in itself is a creation. That whole experience is a created content of being. But when we start to understand these three pillars, we can start to see that attention is bringing all focus into a particular area. The experience of being in that moment is of a separate entity that is far, far removed from infinite creativity. And yet that entire experience is a creation. And so now with that recognition, there's this acknowledgement, attention is focused on a particular area. There might be something that's wanted to be created here. So it might be, in the case of many, I want to create a holiday. I want to create enough money to pay for my house. I want to create some clients who are going to enable me to start my business up. Those creative desires will create experience along with it. And the experience might be where attention is focused in on me. The experience might well be of rejection or hopelessness or failure. And we can see now that that's okay to have that experience. It's just part of the nature of how all content is created. So the experience can be had. It's really fine. And the creative desire, I want to create a business, I want to create money, I want to create a holiday, that creative impulse can be followed through. The experience that it creates doesn't matter. That's just what's happening. It's just there to be had. And all the time there can be this attention focused in on these different areas, the creative urge being followed, responding to whatever comes up, and the having of whatever is being experienced from any moment to moment. And none of this reflects in any way on a separate entity doing anything. That just doesn't exist. It's just not there. So it doesn't have to be protected. It doesn't have to be the focus of anything. It doesn't have to be believed. All that's happening is attention and creation are generating an experience of being that is simply there to be had. And along the way, there is this wild ride, which is intelligence, consciousness, infinite creation, exploring a world of form, creating anything, experiencing anything, attention moving in any direction, and all happening via this body-mind, which isn't being controlled by any individual separate entity, but nevertheless, which has its abilities and passions and skills and capacity, its unique genius, I would say, which means that this ongoing play out of attention, experience, and creation becomes a truly unique experience of being, a truly unique possibility of creativity. That is the birthright, isn't it? It is the closest possible expression of the infinite in form. And it's a wild ride. So good for all of us. Attention, experience, and creation. Those three pillars combining together create everything. Yeah. Thank you. Lots of love. Bye. Thank you for listening to Superpowered Mind with me, Claire Diamond. If you want extra support in the exploration of your mind, download our exclusive subliminal recording, especially for podcast listeners, on bit.ly/podcast subliminal.